All right, buddy. What's going on? How's everybody doing today? What's going on, folks?
That kind of stopped short.
Yeah, what's going on? This
Ladies
is
and
the
gentlemen,
Workbench podcast. What's going on today, everybody? It's a Saturday morning. Thank you guys all for tuning in. This is another French Workbench podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the long-term effects of what's going on in the housing market. Can this be sustainable? And what would happen? Well, what will happen heading out to the end of this year and into next year? So my guests today, I have a few guests, actually. We got Brett, Jenny in studio today. Brett, what's going on today, buddy? How
Guest Uno.
What's going on today?
Not much, man.
Not much.
Stopping getting the day going.
Anything new happening? Nothing?
Just trying to navigate through this housing market.
Yeah, that's right, man. We also got Mr. Zach Martinez here. He's back. He's ready. Look at he's clapping.
Not anymore.
He had his Wheaties today. What's going on today, Zach?
God. Just coming from the cactus, had my Wheaties.
Still living the cactus
Living
life.
the cactus, man.
Life is good, man.
Saturday morning. Also, we have a new guy here, Mr. Matt Scheel from Simply Vegas. What's going on today, Matt? How you feeling, buddy?
I am feeling well.
Appreciate you being here, man.
Fresh and clean.
Yeah.
And,
Matt is our international consultant.
ready to dispense some, hopefully some nuggets of info.
Nuggets of info.
We like nuggets, man.
Let's talk, man.
Some
So
little nuggets.
we see Las Vegas booming right now. Everybody always wants to know, is this, what's happening?
What? You laughing at my
Oh
nuggets?
my gosh.
No, man.
So we got a lot going on. So look,
Don't look at me.
Brad, what are you laughing at over there, man?
Nothing. He's just Matt.
Matt, what's going on, buddy? What's going on?
What's going on? Well, woke up, cleaned my teeth, didn't have a shave this morning.
You didn't
fed
have a
my
shave?
boys. I didn't shave today.
You look rugged.
Damn.
You know, I got a bit of grey in my beard,
Yeah.
so I got to let it out sometimes.
Is that attractive to the ladies having a little bit of gray? Does it
I've
look
been
like?
told it is.
Is it really?
Yeah, I've been told it is.
Yeah.
It's called salt and pepper.
I think it.
It is.
I think the ladies think that you may be wiser or have a bit.
Because
more
here's
money.
the thing. They're not gray whiskers. They're wisdom whiskers.
Maybe. I don't know.
And that's how the lady, right?
Exactly. But
Zach, are you waiting for your wisdom whiskers to come in?
Not really.
He's got a
some
Merv
time
the
to go.
Perv stash.
how old are you, Zach? How old are you?
I turned 24.
Oh, you're 24.
Well, yeah,
You're
like
24,
last
You're
dude.
just a nipper.
He could be our kid.
I'm 20 years older than you.
week. No way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
44.
I'm 45. He's 44. You're 44, right?
Yeah.
I'm 45.
I'm gonna start telling people I'm like 29 or something.
Yeah.
Just to fit in a little better.
It doesn't matter. We're still gonna die before you.
Yeah.
So we're all real estate agents here, and we always have good content on Saturdays. We also have to have some fun. It can't just be all rah real estate and financing. But we do want to have a good topic here today about what's happening in the market. And you guys are all going through the same challenges. And you look at Vegas. Everybody wants to know: is there a bubble? What's the long-term effects of this market? Is it sustainable? Are we going to see this heading into next year? So. I don't know. I mean, I think you look at the real estate market and you look at it, where we're seeing these things going as far as appreciation in homes. I don't see it stopping. Everybody wants to see, is there a stoppage at some point so they can, maybe see that the market's going to be affordable, because there's a lot of people that really starting to get priced out of the market. So what do you think, Brett? I mean, we're going to start with you, man.
That's true. There are going to be people, and that part of it sucks, But I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing. It's real simple. Everyone's like, oh, what do you think's making? It's real simple. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. Supply and demand. Real simple.
Is it harder?
We are the number one city in the country right now that people are moving here to.
Yep.
And we should, even before that mass population move in here, even before you apply that statistic, there should normally be about 14 to 15,000 active homes on the market. There's like 1,900, dude. In a city that's probably one of the fastest growing.
Yeah. If you see this market, well, you see these people moving here, right? And they're like, well, what makes Vegas Vegas? So in my opinion, and I'm going to get each of your guys' perspective, okay, why is Vegas so attractive to people, do you think?
Because it's the closest thing to California that you can get without, people are Well, number one, cost of living, right? So, I mean, to me, I'm from the Midwest, right? So anybody in the Midwest or from the East Coast, anything like that, when you say Las Vegas or San Diego or San Francisco or LA, it's all the same to us, dude.
Right.
It's West Coast. It's all the same to us. And so it's like you look at California and, you know, it can get really expensive. There's a lot of traffic. There's just a lot of things. And I think that naturally already brought an element of people moving to Las Vegas alone. And now it's just, I think that people are starting to catch on with how cheap it is.
Right.
Or it was. And it still is relatively cheap. Not compared to what it was.
Yeah.
But it's real simple. You can still get your California experience in a sense and not pay the money.
Matt, you're from, where are you from?
From in between my mother's legs.
Well, that's a good start.
We're all from the same place.
Yes, exactly.
Same, but
Across the
different.
pond or here. I came from my mom's legs too. So did Zachy boy.
Oh, really?
And Dan French and Lickle.
Where did you originally come from?
From England.
From England,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, from England.
So you look at Las Vegas. You moved here.
Dan,
What?
the red coats.
The redcoats. The redcoats are coming. So why did you move to Vegas?
Well, I mean, at the time, I was a foolish young man, and
He had big dreams thinking he could change his world.
You regret it?
no, I don't regret it. But I mean, I could have gone anywhere, but that was in 2003,
Okay.
and I came here on vacation, and I didn't have any money, and I just had a hangover of my rollerblades.
Yeah.
And then one minute I was homeless, and the next minute I was making like $1,000 a week cash.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of females with big boobs.
So that was attractive to you. Is that what it was?
I said I was a foolish young man. But one thing that
That's crazy. So you just came over. You're like, I'm just going to stay in the States, huh?
yeah. And so
See, that's why I love this town. Because it's full of that, man.
so,
That's why
I mean,
people
obviously
come.
there's more to the story than that. But the thing is,
No, that's it.
No, it's it. Skate's homeless.
That's why he's
$1,000
here.
But let me
That's
explain.
how'd you get it? And then we're going to talk about how you got into real estate.
oh, okay. No, but what happened was when I got here, it was blowing up. The city was blowing up. This was during the first boom in 2003.
Yeah.
Before the mortgage meltdown, and you didn't just walk around and like money was just rolling around.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, it was all false money,
Yeah.
and it was all ether, like fueled by Wall Street. And
But you didn't know enough to know at the time that it was.
no, but
You're just like, hey, man, everyone's getting paid. Right on.
well, I had I mean, it was crazy. Like it was crazy. I got a window covering business and I sold blinds, and then I didn't know anything about it, and then I just would knock on people's doors and say, would you like a free consultation for your window coverings?
Yeah.
And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I went to the London College of Window Design, which isn't true, by the way.
Dude, and then he's got this damn British accent. Then it's like, oh, come on in. It's
And then
like,
I would come in,
dude, that's awesome.
and then I would be their friend. And then I was like, hey, I like
I'm from the
America.
British.
But things were
Take
different.
note,
then.
dude.
That's
By the
awesome.
Vegas was different.
Fake it till you
then.
make it, dude.
Vegas was very different then.
Yeah.
It was quiet. It was quiet compared to now. Like 1.2 million people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So why I'm
It
bringing
was
this
a
up
small
is
town.
you used to see or you've seen Vegas grow.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, it's, should I rent? Should I buy? Actually, thank you for chiming in here on running altitude or running at altitude. Yeah. So
That's my wife.
is it? No.
Yeah.
Is it really? Mm-hmm. Oh, so anyways, she said.
Oh, maybe not.
No, I don't think so. Just rent and be happy is what it says.
Oh, no, that wouldn't be your wife.
And that would be your wife.
Yeah.
You'd be like, sell, buy now. So going back to your situation here, Matt, you look at people that are buying now. The housing market's obviously going crazy. You saw it back in 2005, 6, and 7. There's a lot of things that people have concern about. And one of them is, should I buy today? What's the long-term effect of this housing market? Is it going to sustain itself? And, I just want to kind of get your thoughts on it. What do you think is going to happen here?
That's a good question. There's a lot of things in play. and I've been like scouring like all types of data and trends to figure out what is going on, right? And okay, so if you were to buy or rent, the market's hot. It's like really hot.
Yeah.
And I ask myself every day, like, are we gonna have a crash? Like, it's too hot. And then I look at everything.
Well,
I don't
explain.
See, that part of me in the back of my head says that too.
Okay, but let me finish.
No, I agree.
Maybe the word crash is an incorrect term.
Right.
Right? Because the crash last time was based on lies, right? Lies on underwriting, lies on Wall Street, lies on repackaging securities and selling them. That was all fraud, right? It was all fraud.
At
And
all levels.
Consumers didn't know and they didn't care. And some people profited out of it. And some people were innocent and some people were stupid. Right?
Yes.
But the right people should live in the right home and they should be able to afford their home, right? And that wasn't the case back then, right? So fast forward to 2021, okay? Underwriting is vicious, as you know. There's no smudging anything. Anyone that can buy a home can afford the house at that mortgage payment, like unless there's a change of their circumstances. I'm talking about when they buy a new house.
Right.
And the rates are very low. So it's affordable. If it's affordable for someone to buy a home now, then maybe you should buy a home, you know? In terms of like, when I look at properties with affordability, okay? So affordability for a local casino worker. Like there's so many different things happening here. Like we've got the people relocating from California.
Yes.
On fixed income that are retiring, right? Or like say like a government worker in California.
Right.
It's cheap. I've got a lot of people that have never bought a house before. This is the first time they're buying a home and it's affordable.
So let me ask you this question. You're out there and you're listening to this and somebody's saying, well, rent and be happy, right? Which they said, where is there a case between renting or buying a home, like versus can you say, well, there's pros and cons? I think there's a big problem with people thinking that buying a home right now, it's just too overpriced. And the alternative is let's just rent for now. Let's wait till the crash happens or let's wait till something happens in the market. Then we'll get back in the market and buy when things happen.
So risk reward on everything, right? What if the market doesn't go down? What if it just levels off?
Well, I mean,
are you waiting for prices to come down 10, 15%? If that was the case, then absolutely. But I don't think that's happening.
Well, there's another thing you can do.
You know, so then it's like, go ahead.
Like statistically, if you buy a house instead of renting a house for the same cost for the mortgage, you can get like 700 extra square feet at the moment. Like you can get a bigger house. And if you look at the rental market right now, it's shit.
It's tougher than buying a house.
It's really bad.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people.
When I say it's bad, I mean the houses are ugly.
Yeah.
And they're charging a shit ton for them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, if you can get one. I mean, there's same thing. There's 10, 15, 20 applicants on a rental that goes on the market.
So if you're,
I mean,
I'm
pick your poison, bro.
Let me ask you this question then. So let's say you're all
Move the perump.
Let's say you're all renting, right?
Over the hump.
Okay. Move the perump.
Over the hump.
So let's say you're renting. Would you buy right now? Matt, I'll start with you.
Not in Vegas.
You wouldn't buy. So if you're renting, you wouldn't buy a house here.
Okay, so if I was a renter.
Yes.
If I was a renter.
Yes.
That's a tough one because, that is a tough one.
Okay.
Like, what?
Like, give me the pros and the cons.
Why would you rent unless you had to?
If I could find the right house, I would buy a house.
Okay.
Like, there's no reason to rent. If you can buy, here's another thing you need to consider. How long are you going to stay here for? Like,
Yeah.
Some people, they buy and they're only here for like a year or two. But if you're going to be here for like 5 to 10 years.
But I think a lot of people have a plan of originally only moving here for a year or two anyways are going to rent.
Maybe.
Yeah.
you know.
But I think a lot of people, like when you look at it, and we'll talk to Zach about this real
Can
quick.
I tell you why I paused on that? Is because, like, you know, I've been doing this for a while, and like, in the back of my mind, I look at homes that like you could have bought for like $50,000, and now they're selling for like $300,000.
Dude, I remember that.
So
Trust, I know.
So that like there's a like, and that's only within myself. Like there's a break in me because I'm like half Scottish and I'm tight. But like,
is that
a little bit
Scottish are known as tight?
We're more fun than Jews because we drink more. You know?
That's awesome.
God bless everyone.
Yeah.
And so,
Right?
and so, no, but so I think that if it's affordable, I say you definitely should, because like Brett said, I don't know if there's going to be I don't know what's in the future. Like I've been trying to look into the future so hard, and then here's a couple things where like I'm like not sure, right? The coronavirus hit. There was concern. I heard of a statistic that a third of homes that have mortgages in the valley are more than 90 days late.
Yeah.
Because they're doing forbearance. Now, over the past 6 months, I've taken listings of people that are piecing out of Vegas. They're piecing out. And then 2 of them, they'd had a shift, like they worked in the casino business, which had evaporated and is yet to fully come back. It won't, I mean, it's going to take a couple of years for the convention business to come back. I'm talking about conventions.
Yeah.
And this guy worked in conventions. And every person is different. Everyone's situation is different. Some people have lost their income and they're losing their cushion and they got to sell, and they have not been paying their mortgage, and they still are not paying their mortgage, and there's no notice of default. So that's like shadow data. Like it's gray. Like
Right.
no one knows what's really going on there. But
Zombie inventory,
maybe,
basically.
Maybe, but here's the maybe, right? That's happening. There's no hard data, but I've been told by a GC that does asset preservation for like Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. So, you know, he's told me, and I don't think there's any reason why he would tell me a lie. Right. He hasn't, there's no motivation to do so. But the other thing is, okay, so we got this massive appreciation. So people aren't paying their mortgage, right? There's a shortage of homes on the market, but housing prices are going up. So even though they're not paying their mortgage, the price of their house is going up. And they're not paying their mortgage, maybe, right? So that combined with inflation and people coming here and all the stimulus money hitting the street. And so what's going to happen next year? I'm not sure, because like I was surprised. Part of me I felt a bit like I had a conversation with a client that I sold their home, and we thought maybe a lot of homes are going to come on the market. Let's just like take your money and run.
Right.
He bought a house like
Dude, I had the same conversation with some of my clients last year. I was just,
well,
I know, dude.
So he bought a house a year ago, okay, walked with an extra like 50,000 in equity. That's pretty good in 1 year.
Well, I think.
And then he left town.
Yeah, looking at this whole thing though, and let's just be upfront with everything that we talk about. We're all real estate agents and lenders, right? I'm a lender, real estate agents. So we're always going to be a little bit biased in a sense of, hey, you might want to buy because we're in the industry. The reality is I think there's a problem. Well, let me say this: there's a problem where I think people think, well, now's not the time to buy because there's going to be a crash, or either I do buy now because there's not going to be a chance for me to buy later. So a lot of people either stay where they're at and renting, right? They're just like, you know what, I'm just going to be a renter until this crash happens, like you said, or sometimes it doesn't happen.
I say it's let's look at the facts. Are you coming here from somewhere? Is it cheaper to live here to buy than it is where you come from? Then it's a good time to buy. Are you qualified to buy? And it's still cheaper than where you come from? It's a good time to buy. Okay, even if you say, I qualify, it's a good time to buy, it's cheaper, I don't want to buy, then what's your option? Rent. So now you're coming into a renting scenario. where you're in an escalated rental market and it's the same situation for rentals than it is for buying. So if you think you're overpaying for buying, you're surely overpaying for renting.
So one of the pros.
I mean,
let's do the pros and cons.
those
Yeah,
are your
but
options. I mean,
Can I just say, like, because I didn't quite finish what I was saying, because
Go ahead.
there's something unknown in the future, right? And what's unknown is that, like, the Biden administration have successfully kicked the can on a big problem by flooding the money, flooding the streets with money, right? With the stimulus, and then people not paying their mortgage for a year,
Okay.
and no notices of defaults. Okay. Landlords have been it's been hard for landlords, but they've also been able to do forbearance as well. Those that have mortgages and those that have owned the homes for cash are just lost out when they haven't been paying them. They can't kick them out.
Sure.
But so what's going to happen next year? Well, these homes have all got equity, these people that haven't been paying their mortgages. And I've heard that you got to understand that this whole situation, last time it was created by nefarious activity on Wall Street and fraud, but this situation has been caused by the government. It's a government-created situation. So what do you think is going to be the PR of people getting kicked out of their homes because of the government? So the government are going to do everything they can to, like, I don't know, kick the can, especially if Biden wants to get reelected.
Right.
I don't know how far they can kick the can, by the way. I don't know how far you can kick a can. But what happens, right? Maybe there isn't a crash. Maybe there's no correction. And then everyone kicks the cans, right? They kick the can. And then we're all paying $7 a gallon for gas.
Which we are now. I mean, you look at all the news that's going on in appreciation. Zach, I want to ask you a question, man.
What's up, man?
Convince me, okay? Why would you buy versus rent? You're renting right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the Cactus.
yeah, but he's got the cactus life. That's hard to give
So
up.
I guess you could justify why you would rent. But explain to me this. So if you're out there and you're talking to a client,
Riddle me this, kid.
yes, let me ask you this question. So if you're out there, pros and cons. Like, if somebody came and asked you, and let's say you're not in real estate, would you rent versus buy, right? What would you tell them?
Well, I guess, let me just tell you what I would do. I mean, let's say I'm not even in the industry, right? If I was in a position to buy, absolutely I would buy, just because me personally, I think my situation, I would like to own a home, right? And then that kind of goes back to, what's your situation? Are you in a position to buy? Are you not in a position to buy? So I think it really depends. Like I said, right now, I'm not in a position to buy, right? I'm renting. Again, like I said, I'm pretty young. I had just moved out like a couple of years ago. So
is it more of like a thing where you feel like you've established something where, you're renting? Obviously, your money's getting thrown away. We all know that. But I think buying has some type of clout where you feel like you bought a home and I feel like I'm progressing somewhere in life or I'm putting something. Is that something that's really you see as a valuable thing to you?
Oh, 100%. And I'd have to say a lot of people my age, too, feel the same way, I mean, my girlfriend, too, she's like, oh, we're paying rent and it's going nowhere. Like, we're paying to stay here,
right?
For the moment.
I don't care what generation you are. Everyone likes to.
Of course, yeah. Everyone likes to have something that's theirs,
And especially a house.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, people raise families, and that's where you spend all your free time.
The other thing is this, right? Is one thing I learned from the last crash is that owning a house and the notion of owning something is just a financial formula of whether you own it or not. Like you're in it and you occupy it and you can make it nice, but if you don't own it until it's paid off.
The lien holder, which is your mortgage, owns it.
So I mean, you can make it nice and you have the illusion that you own it, and if it's affordable, you're working towards owning it, but you don't actually own it. You got
no, you don't.
Even if you own it cash, you got to pay your property taxes, or the government come and take you.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, it's nice to have something and have a nest and put some roots down.
Right.
But like, it is just, it's an emotional decision, but also it's a financial formula.
Yeah, I think too, though, you have to look at like, well, it's a start, and I think a lot of people in life they don't get They don't have a silver spoon put
No.
in, you know, and so
That's most people don't.
And it's
do.
the best way to build
Right.
up like wealth as well.
well, yeah, the vehicle to get started, absolutely. But I think a lot of people are in this day and age is like, well, you know, this market's so inflated, prices are going to continue to go up. What is the long-term effects that Las Vegas is going to have on this? And I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. So, do you think there's going to be a point where houses are so high that we're really just going to start to see a very like even off or very low period of
Let me ask you this. Do you think we're getting to a point where homes are going to be too high? I think as long as there's people willing to live there, no. Look at San Diego, dude, where you get a 1,500 square foot house, which is $3 million. Is
think-
that overpriced?
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I think we're at a point.
Do they have a hard time selling it? F no.
Yeah, but some people will just be priced out.
Yeah.
And if you've driven around town for the past like 6 years, they apartment complexes are popping up like mushrooms.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that they planned that out,
Yeah.
and we have a limited amount of land and space to develop in the valley.
I mean, dude, there's areas of the city that used to sell even in a healthy market 3 or 4 years ago, $150 a square foot, and now I'm seeing them $205, $210 a square foot. And I remember in 2011, 2012, dude, $215 a square foot was like ultra luxury,
Yeah.
like the Ridges.
Well, I think it's like this.
Maybe not quite the Ridges.
There's got to be a point though where it gets to where people are saying, you know what, does it make sense to buy, or should I buy because I feel like I'm overpaying for something?
I think it's a lot dependent on your financial situation and what you feel is going to be your security and a future financial situation. I mean, you're going to tell me that, here's the thing, at the end of the day, rent is more money than owning a home, except for using the money for a down payment, right?
right.
So you have to have a place to live anyways. So if you're telling me that if you can afford to work your job and own a house, you're not going to?
Well, no, I don't.
Come on.
I think you're right, man. I just think that let's ask Matt over here. Matt, so you said England, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
UK.
UK. So if you look at the
Great
UK
Britain.
and you see the prices over there in homes, is it
Right,
the
Coast.
same thing happening over there? I'm sure you got family over there.
I mean, my sister's a real estate attorney, but she's like an escrow officer, except it's like East Coast attorney state.
Right.
She does that.
Oh, I
Okay.
gotcha.
Conveyancing. They're really busy. There's just a shortage of homes there. I mean, you've got
Same thing here.
no, but it's different because like there's a population of like I think it's like 66 million for the whole country,
Wow.
and it's
In
the
all
whole-
of England?
England, Scotland, Wales,
Oh, the whole UK? 66 million?
and the site. I think you can fit all of it in Texas.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So we're talking about
You know what's even more astounding? Sorry. The fact that something that small owned the entire world at one point. Anyways, go ahead.
yeah. So
I mean, dude,
you got to
give
look
them
at
up.
Vegas. Vegas is a fishbowl. Look at Vegas like a fishbowl. Okay, we've got a fishbowl. It's in a valley. It's a fishbowl. The fishbowl is filling up, right? All the hedge funds like Zillow, all the big tech companies, they love Vegas and Phoenix, right? Because they're like two fishbowls where they can test
Yep.
their products.
Yeah.
And we're in a fishbowl. It's gonna get really tight. I'd expect over the next 5 to 10 years that, like, except for like new BLM land that's released, we're gonna be pretty chocker full. When that happens, there's gonna be another bump. So even if we do have a correction next year, if you look like in a 10-year time
Yeah,
frame,
if you look at the big picture, I absolutely agree.
You
Sooner
know?
or later, every valley gets filled. That was my theory when I moved here for real estate in 09.
Yeah, but I
was,
talked
dude,
to
sooner or later, every valley's going to get filled. I mean,
I
look
talked
at
to
California, dude.
I talked to a builder though recently. This was like just our last show. They said they have so much land they haven't even tapped into. So
Good. They're
the
going to
main-
need it.
Well, they're going to need it. But the point is how long is that going to be? And our price is going to continue to soar because everybody's like, well,
It's real simple. So you want to control that? You control how much land you sell. That's super simple, dude.
well, let me ask you this. So,
Why do you think Summerlin's so expensive?
Matt, what are your thoughts? Do you think
Controlled.
that you keep thinking about a correction? You think this correction is going to happen here?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it might just not happen, and there might be a fizzle. Like, what's the fizzle? Okay, everyone wants a bit of fizzle. Or just, you know.
Dude, what's this fizzle you talk about?
Okay, so let's call it mortgage fizzle, right?
Yeah.
So next year, like Biden, they say, look, you got to start paying your mortgage now, or like, oh, we're going to start filing notice of defaults. Then the banks will go. The government will tell the banks and say, hey, you need to refinance these people. You just got to refinance them because the election's coming up. So then they haven't paid their mortgage for a year, 1.5 maybe. Their homes jumped up in equity because there's a shortage of homes because no one's selling and a lot of people are living for free. And then the government tell the mortgage companies to refi them whatever, tack it onto the end, re-amortize it. I mean, that's your department.
Yeah, right.
And then they've just made a shit ton of equity and they live for free and they've kicked the can.
But
so
that's
if
what
that happens,
dude,
we're not going to get more homes on the market.
But that's what our government does. Kick the can down the road.
So
That's what they do with our current. That's what they do with our currency. Like, hey, we're going to print all this stimulus money to people. We're just going to print trillions of dollars. Hit a button, boom, it's in your bank just like that, thin air.
I think there's a lot of data.
Nope, nothing to see here.
There's a lot of data out there, and there's a lot of information, and this is where I'm going is there's so much information out there that it gets all convoluted. People have different perceptions on should I do this, should I not do this or not or whatever. And is this the right investment? Is it, is this what I should be doing with my money? Is a home now something that's affordable that I should be investing my money in? I mean, you have a lot of people, Zach, that you deal with, younger generation. I mean,
Cactus life people,
man. Do they really want to invest into a home? Or are they really just like, you know what? I'm going to stay. Because let's be honest, a lot of people that are in the younger generations, they stay at home until they're almost 30.
Living in your parents' basement, not doing shit. I'm just kidding.
They do though, right?
I'm joking,
it's
dude.
true. I mean, they have more options because if I see that they maybe don't want to jump into having a family like it was before. They want to wait and see if buying a house. And there's always that question like, well, is buying a house the right thing to do? Should I really do that? I'm giving a bank money. I always say it's almost like investment, where it's not an investment you're stuck to forever. People usually move from their house 7 to 10 years, but I mean, at least you have an opportunity to make some money off of something, right? So what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, there's a good handful of people that I know that moved out when they were 18, but there's also a good amount of people that I know that haven't. They're just taking advantage of the opportunity that they have. They're like, hey, like, why not live at home? I'm working, I'm making my money, and then I'll be able to roll that into a down payment for, purchasing my own home.
Are they saving it though?
Yeah. I got a pretty good amount of friends that are.
They are? Okay, well then, never mind.
I got
most
somebody,
kids that say that ain't saving shit.
I have good friends, so
they're blowing
I'm happy
it up.
about that. I have another friend that does loans, and he's still living at home. I mean, he moved out, but moved back in.
Wait a second.
But
Yo,
bro,
you need to take those headphones off and get the F out.
No. Hey. Trust me, you're my guy.
Bro, that's all right,
You're
man.
my guy.
We'll take care of you in the parking lot.
I just played.
86 them, bro.
Go ahead, man.
My
8 miles
point
out,
was-
6 feet deep.
My point was he's doing pretty good, but he still lives at home, right? And his idea is, again, just start stacking his money, stack his money.
Stacks.
Yeah, right. And then just buy a house whenever you can. And they're not really in a rush. People aren't like dying to move out when they're 18. I mean, I wasn't really, but I mean, there was a point where I was like, okay, I got to get out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry. What was your question? I got completely.
Well, you know what, though, dude? That's like a lot of them probably won't get that bug in them until they're probably late 20s. Because I myself, I was like 28 or 29 before I was like, all right.
I guess the big question is this.
I need to,
Here's the big question.
something.
The question is, there's a lot of people out there that are skeptical about buying in a market that has homes appreciating this high, even though rates are low.
Sure.
And should they wait until the crash happens or there's a correction?
How
I
long?
don't know if crash is the right word.
And realistically,
Well, a lot of people think there's a crash coming.
Well,
know.
it's not going to crash. It'll level off because, yes, right? Okay, homes have been increasing 15 to 20%. You can't continue to have that. At a certain point, it's going to level out. But you got to understand what's leading to that right now is all common sense and easily explainable, right? It's a mass amount of people moving here, and it's people who are moving here into a market that's a lot cheaper than what they're used to.
Yeah.
So that's what needs to happen to kind of correct that a little bit would be more homes
how
coming
about-
on the market.
Why don't we use the phrase?
More homes, you know?
Let's just say, at the moment, if you're coming from out of state, comparative value is very high.
Very high. Correct.
Comparative value
Very good.
from California.
Yes.
Now, we're speaking as locals, right? But at the end of the day, if you, as a point Brent mentioned earlier, is that if you can afford it and it makes sense, it's better to buy.
I think though too, like it's not a lot of people just from California. It's all over.
It's from all over.
All over. So we keep saying California.
Correct.
But-
I'm just saying that's
Yeah.
a good majority,
reason-
and that's
I mean,
that's
I just say that because probably 60%
New York.
of my clients are Californian. You know?
Yeah.
yeah, me too.
That's all.
Or New York.
Yeah. I think it's like this though. It's not really just about buying. It's like, are they discouraged? And is it?
I can understand
It's
the
not about.
discouraged
It's
part.
not about just even having the money. Does it make sense? And is it the right time to buy?
So I
because
think-
it's so the price.
Yeah,
is,
I mean,
let's say I
every-
could afford it, and I'm sitting here going, you know what? Prices are going up. You know, $20,000, $30,000. You got people asking above. Are you sitting there going, you know what? I want to jump into that frenzy because you know.
So in every market that I've been in like this, I mean, not this extreme for a seller's market, but market, you know, is there's always a segment of buyers that say that. They just say, hey man, I just don't want to deal with it right now and stuff like that. And I don't know what their future outcome was because I obviously didn't hang out with them and whatever it was. But you know, I mean, yeah, that's probably the most understandable common sense thing right now for buyers for a reason of not to buy. Anything else, there's not really a reason not to buy, I guess is what I'm saying. But if you're like, listen, dude, I totally get that. Yep, absolutely.
what about you, man?
There's going to be, you know, and that's understandable.
Specifically, what was the question?
Well, I mean, even if you have the funds, does it make sense to buy? Like
To
what
buy
if-
right now.
Well,
Okay.
it's like this. If I got money and I'm like, you know what? I could go buy in another state. I can go buy in Texas. I can go buy in Midwest. There's other places out there that I can maybe plant my money. But you know what? Vegas is desirable. Do I want to jump into that frenzy of a market where people are overpaying for these prices?
Dude, go to
of homes?
Prump. You can get an acre
if you're
land.
if you're paying cash, if you've got some cash lying around, might not be a bad idea to stick it into some real estate. There was a condo in Newport Lofts, downtown. There was a bunch going for like 245, 260, and they all got snapped up. One of my clients got one for cash.
Right.
And there's no more inventory left, and I expect that's all going to bump up like 10 or 15%. But if you're buying as an investment and you have a mortgage or any type of investment, you got to look at the yield of the investment, and does that work for you?
Right.
You know, yields are pretty low in Vegas right now.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't want to,
It's
right?
like 4
you don't
or
want to have to.
5%, 4%. Like you could get a higher yield somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm talking about rental income.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about appreciation. Now, the other thing that I know a couple people have done, I haven't done it, is, you know, I know some people that are buying, like, they're putting reservations down for new homes, like like townhomes in Summerlin or some luxury real estate.
Sure.
And they put down their deposit when it's just dirt, like way ahead of like when anything might happen.
They don't even have like some of the roads cut out yet.
No, but that's like purchasing a futures option contract.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if they decide not to go ahead, then they can just lose $5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
so, I would say.
You're absolutely, man. It's a great
In answer to your question,
analogy.
Yeah.
you got to do what's right for you,
Uh-huh.
and it's like everything's done on an individual basis. There's no like yardstick for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's situation's different, you know. Which is why you need to call me. I'm joking.
Well, look, man. Let's talk about when we look at. Let's call Matt right now. No,
Everybody call Matt.
everybody
I'm
call
joking.
Matt. So no, I think I think it's a good thing to talk about. So the last thing.
May I just say,
Sure.
that, like, this is a forthright, this is a pragmatic approach to doing this sort of thing, because, most agents will just say, buy. Oh yes, it's a great time to buy. Oh, buy.
Yeah.
Buy. bye. But like, it's a serious topic.
Well, everybody's going to say that, we're real estate agents, lenders. We're gonna be biased and
Then
say
I would
buy now.
yeah,
I think everybody's on a case by case, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if you're
for
gonna
sure.
buy a primary residence, I would probably go ahead and put.
What kicks me is when people say, "Hey, what do you think?" I tell them like, "Yeah, but you're a realtor. Then why did you ask me?"
Right. So
Oh,
So there's
Anyways.
a lot of talk out there with long-term effects, and we're gonna go from this segment to another segment. But I just want to ask this question: what is the long-term effects you think is going to happen with Vegas with these home prices? Like, we're not talking about just the next few months. I know it's kind of hard to predict. We're not trying to say predict the future, but what are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen, Matt?
I would say that we may or may not have a dip. Like, I wouldn't say a crash. And
If we did have one,
if we did have
when
one,
do you think that would happen? Look, we're not economists here, okay?
No. If it happened, I would hope, right, we can get it out the way, because the quicker we have it, the better it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, I don't know if that's arse backwards logic, but like, next year would be nice if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That would be ideal, because you got to deal with the pain.
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, but maybe it's not going to happen. I'm not sure if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, because the other things I said. And so long term for the market, I would say that.
If somebody came to you, Matt, and said, you know what, you're going to have my business for life if you can give me at least an ethical right opinion on something.
Yeah. You can't
think
go
a lot
wrong.
of
You're not going to go wrong long term.
Yeah, I think a lot of realtors, they're always going to be like, buy now. They want to make money. We all want to make money. We get it. But
I've never given advice from that point of view, dude. I mean,
yeah, but people
like-
do ask that question to you all the time, right?
yeah, and dude, I'm always honest about it, and my reasons why. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of realtors who are thinking the here and now and stuff like that, and obviously I need to make money to pay my bills, but like, money's never been like I can get away with telling them something and then get my that's not how I want to make my money, man. So I'm always honest about it, and I think I agree with Matt. Long term, it's simple supply and demand, man. It's still a valley that's everybody wants to go to, and I don't think that's going to be slowing down. We're the new California,
What about you, Zach?
whether
What
you
do
like
think?
it or not.
Yeah, like Brett said, I mean, it doesn't, there's no signs of, growth slowing down here. So if you're talking 5-10 years, of course, like it's gonna
Even
be good.
20, 25,
Right.
will things happen in the economy? Yes.
Right.
I mean, no one anticipated 3 years ago we would have COVID and all
Right.
that stuff. So,
And
there's always
and how
elements that
long-
happen, but
How long have you guys heard of people, I don't know about you guys, but since I got my license, I've heard, people say, oh, I think I'm going to wait for prices to come down. I'm going to wait for,
remember,
market to
that's why I
crash.
told you last time we had that conversation. I go, I've dealt with that kind of buyer.
Right.
Like, I don't deal
All
with
the
them
time.
Doesn't happen.
because of that.
They lose their arse.
And,
Yeah,
that,
of
and that's
course.
what happens. Those people end up, and that's why I got angry that one day at the guy on there, because remember I said to you, I go, people like that end up never making any money
Right.
Right.
because of that.
But let me say
always
this.
waiting.
So look, do you think
Dude.
that
You
obviously
gotta
people
put
moving
them on
here,
the table.
people moving here, right? Is that going to open up doors for other? Look at
Where are you from? Minnesota, isn't it?
Brett's-
Wisconsin, man.
Wisconsin.
We're not right in the head.
Fucking
It's all good.
Wisconsin.
Wisco,
Wisco.
number one alcoholic state.
What's Wisco like in the
Oh,
disco?
nice.
Drunk. And we like to shoot shit.
That was the right answer.
Animals. Anyways,
Let's talk about
We need to go there,
football.
guys.
We love football.
So long-term effect. Let's
Aaron
talk about this,
Rodgers,
and we'll end this
Cali can
part.
have Aaron Rodgers back. Anyways.
You think jobs are going to be opening up where there's going to be enough? Like, you got a lot of people moving here. There's never going to be a shortage of jobs here in Vegas. Do you think there's ever going to be a shortage of? There's not opportunity, because a lot of people move here from California and other places. It's not just California, but they're looking for jobs. They're looking for opportunity.
I'm going to look to the past.
I would.
Go ahead.
No, after you. After you.
I'm going to
Scott,
look
you
to
were
the
first.
past. How many desert cities in the middle of nowhere started at the same time Las Vegas did? How many are the size of Las Vegas?
I don't know how many.
No,
We're just going to leave it at
many.
that. So we came from nothing to
Phoenix.
what we are.
Phoenix had major.
So
like, trade
so
there.
do you think we're just gonna like forget how to grow the city and how to like
No, I think
Vegas
it
is always
depends
a
on-
place.
There's only so much growth, I think, in a city. But as long as there's enough people moving here and there's enough jobs to work with, then I think
Yeah.
then
Well,
that's-
obviously,
that's-
yeah.
that's gotta-
I mean,
you know
but
what I
I
mean?
think that there's innovative people always moving here. Go ahead.
Well,
Sorry.
the other thing though, I think there's in the valley, like not many people will drive 45 minutes or an hour to live in Pahrump. Like there's a minority of people.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
not commutable.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That's not commutable at the moment. Then the other thing is like people moving here for work, unless you're a professional, like the American dream is like tough deals, you know?
Yeah.
Like I have some clients that, you know, work in restaurants down on the strip. They're like making like $17 an hour, $18 an hour, $20 an hour. You can get like a house for like 200
Yeah.
or a townhome, but
you're not. You
it's
can't
not-
buy anything.
It's not. You can't. I mean, it's very challenging. at
Very
the moment.
challenging. You got to have multiple income
You know,
streams of income.
well, I mean, it's also a town where you can be somebody who can barely add 1 + 1 = 2, and you come here and be a cocktail waitress and make $100
ton
grand
of
a year.
money.
Yeah,
Well-
I'm not saying that they are by any means. I'm just saying, like, it's also a place where you can have and just show up, dude. And if you have the right and do the right part, whatever it is, you can make $100 grand a year serving drinks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, name me another place you can do that at.
Well, let's talk about this. So, a lot of people seek out real estate agents, and I'm going to put you guys out on the spot here. So, I think a lot of people seek out. Go ahead. Hold on. They're going to seek out real estate. Go ahead.
You're gonna call us out, bro?
Yeah, I'm going to call you out.
All right.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay.
What's up,
So-
Mr. Post Surgery?
Post surgery.
I'm gonna make a nosebleed twice.
Do you guys think that a lot of people pick real estate agents when they go online and they just look up Zillow or they look at it? There's a combination of sex appeal. Do you think that that's
I
actually
think it's a combination of how you
I'm gonna say this.
you come across
No,
in
let
your
me-
packaging,
no.
and it's a combination of people from referrals of other people that know you.
Right, but
I think
let
it's a
me say
combination
this.
of both.
So let's say you're an attractive person, male or female. Matt probably gets a lot of play with this because he probably gets people calling him because he's an attractive male, and women are like, "Hey, you know what?"
whoa, whoa.
And then he
Matt,
starts
Whoa.
talking
I
that
just
British
wanna-
What's
accent,
going on here?
and he's like shaking,
get
not
outta
here.
he's like shaking, not stirred.
Listen, I identify as ugly.
You do.
I identify as ugly.
Who identifies you as ugly?
No, I identify with myself. It's like I identify as like being cis man or something. I identify
Yeah.
as like I keep it down.
You keep it down, yeah.
One thing that helps me.
He's like he can't bring his full hotness.
No,
The chick's
no,
just
listen.
like
No, what really helps me is my accent over the phone, talking on the phone.
That's what I was gonna say.
It gives me like an extra 3 seconds
Yeah. Does
No,
it
it's-
really?
for sure.
It's huge.
So
They said that
That
your
helps.
accent, that the accent that you know, like the British accent, is the easiest language, or like to your ear, it's the easiest to
Maybe.
relay. That's what I've
Yeah.
heard. Like it's universally. That's why a lot of
but the other
because
thing,
they're smooth and like classy, and Americans we're choppy and we're loud. And, like, look at me, I'm like da da da. Matt's over here. Oh, and then the gentleman. Da, da, da,
I
da.
think, yeah, the accent goes.
I mean, right there, dude.
It goes hand in hand with like
Also,
professionalism. Honestly,
I've made at least 20,000 phone calls. So like it's not something that helped me initially, but I learned how to read in between the lines, talking on the phone.
He can hear him say certain things, and he knows in what direction.
I know exactly
yeah.
what they want. Or who
Yeah.
they are,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
But
listen. Let's talk about builders then, okay? Because we
Yeah.
all work with a lot of builders. Builders are taking away a lot of the incentives of taking people to their building sites.
Yeah.
How are you doing with that? Like, what do you guys do with that? Like, I mean, I know you try to, but
Have fun going to that builder.
yeah, because it's like they're not paying anything, right? So
I'm not going.
what is your pitch? If somebody calls you, and
I
says,
don't have a
"Brett,
pitch. If
Brett,
that's the
I
house
wanna
that you,
take-"
if that's the house that you want, then you should get it.
Okay. Are you
But-
gonna
but
are you
I'm
gonna
not-
show
I'm-
representation though?
I'm not getting paid. So unless that buyer wants to pay me out
Okay.
of their pocket, which they don't want to, then hey, I mean, you want to send over? Listen, you want to send over the builder's contracts and all? I'll take a look at them and stuff to make sure whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I tell everybody up front, even with that, I'm like, just so you know, all builders' contracts are written out for them, not for you, in their favor.
What about you, Matt?
So,
what are you dealing with?
you
man?
know,
you dealing with that too?
I mean.
Sorry, I
challenge.
want to make a living
No,
and
no.
pay my bills.
Brett mentioned supply and demand, and there's builders have like have pumped the brakes on sales because they can't keep up with production and lumber pricing and everything. And also,
Would it be because of supply and demand though? They know that there's not a lot of existing homes.
Here's the
they'll
thing,
make
dude.
more
exactly
money
what
this
it-
quarter.
Yeah.
Like this year.
Yeah.
They'll make more money this year.
So that's what I'm saying is when you have less supply and you have more demand for a home and people are just willing to walk into new home builds, you could actually get in some, I wouldn't say hot water, but you don't have the right representation. Sometimes builders just control the outcome, right?
So I would say this is this past year, my demonstration of my value and expertise was to get them a house with a builder because it was so competitive.
Yeah.
And
That's mine
I've
right
been in
now.
Blind bid situations, all kinds of funny stuff. And like in a different market, all the time I would get some free stuff from the builder or create some extra value. Although the one thing, right, the one thing which you're probably aware of is that builders do try and jack you because they're publicly traded companies that want to make as much money as possible.
That's
out of
their
each
agenda.
transaction. That's their agenda.
That's their agenda.
So how I help clients with new homes is if they have some cash and they're open to doing it, they can close with the cheapest flooring and get the good stuff for like 40% off and do it themselves. The other thing is builders, mortgage companies always jack them on the rate. Well, it's not, 90% of the time.
Well, it's a built-in rate. So I'm going to say, you know what? A lot of times you go into it and people think, well, it's free and all this stuff. And I'm going to kind of
Nothing
about
in life
that.
is free.
It's not. And the thing is that I had a guy come in and he's like, yeah, we don't, I go, do you actually charge or overcharge for the house to compensate for some of the materials? Yes. So they obviously do that.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing that they do is they build in the rate of all the costs. So you're not going to ever know that there's a higher interest rate on these deals. They build in some of the costs. So it's just like, here's your rate, but yet they're getting a rebate or yet sometimes they build it into the cost of the rate. So there's just,
That's what I always tell them. Like, so what builders lenders do is they add on a bunch of BS to then take it away and say, look, we're saving you this, this, and this, or it's not costing you this and this. But they're not, like, all they're doing is taking away something they shouldn't have added on to begin with.
yeah. What about you,
Nothing's
Zach?
free, man.
What do you see, man?
Well,
Well, hold on. I'm sorry, I zoned out. What was your? No, I was
you
paying
know
attention.
where they get them on. You know
I
where they
have
get 'em-
Practice life.
I have some appointments later. I was thinking about like,
You know where they get them on things is when they
These
say
millennials.
the buyers
God.
we'll take care of your closing costs. We'll take care of like 2% of your closing costs or all of your closing costs. Because even though that in a sense is being added onto the loan interest rate or whatever it is, people see it as, man, that's 10 grand, that's 12 grand of money I don't have to bring out of pocket.
100%.
And that's like they know that, dude.
Do you think builders are completely trying to cut out everybody in the transaction at this point?
I would say,
Yes.
okay, so the builder is an entity, it's a corporation, and it's just like, they're just, they've got to make as much money as possible. They're going to vertically integrate as much as they can, and some builders are more savage than others. So,
But that's
it's their-
fine because
it's their
you-
job. It's
Yeah.
their job
Yeah.
to do so.
Yeah. It's their job to make as much money for the shareholders and
Yeah.
the bottom line at the end of the year as they can. And the whole point of owning a business is to make more this year than it did last year. Every year it's to make more. That's the point of a business. If you start going backwards, you don't have a business
Well,
anymore.
here's where I have a problem with it. We're all trying to make a living, right? And we all understand everybody wants the best for themselves. But I think a lot of times you get people that get approved with us, like let's say they get approved as a lender or they're working with you as a realtor, and they end up going and doing this stuff on their own and completely bypassing you. I've had people where they gotten approved from me, and then halfway in they're like, you know what? The builder's going to throw everything at me in the kitchen sink. They said that I have to go with them, and then they kind of just leave you at the last minute. Same thing with real estate agents. They might just show up at the real estate office and say, you know what? Are you represented by a realtor? And if the realtor's not there, guess what? You're gone. Your commission's gone. So
they put that sign right on the front door. You must come in the first time with a realtor.
right, and
Right there. People just walk by it though.
is that something that you guys deal with a lot?
Oh,
Like, do
I
you deal
see
with a
that.
lot of it, Matt? Where
No,
you don't have people just like
No.
walk in without you, and they're like, oh, I didn't
no,
know.
because I with my buyers, I normally sit down with them for at least 2 hours.
Yeah. You educate
when I
them.
first meet them.
Oh, yeah.
And I go over everything. And like the whole, depending on, not over everything, but
Matt's been doing it long enough where he knows the conversations they have
Yeah.
up front.
Yeah.
So
You know?
they can. I mean, and as well, if a potential buyer of a home goes into a new home builder's place without me there,
Yeah.
they know that they're potentially walking into an ambush,
Yeah.
and they may get jacked,
Yeah.
and then they know that I won't be able to help them.
I scare my buyers. Well, I'm like, so like I've had builders come and be like, yeah, they're your buyers in, got you registered. Yeah, you educate them pretty well because they weren't opening a mouth until they gave us your info. And I was like,
Yeah.
I love my buyers.
And that's why it's good to
I
set
love
that
my buyers.
expectation
Yeah,
up front.
exactly.
You got to let them know, you have
Yeah.
that buyer consultation. You let them know exactly what's going on.
And that comes through
And-
them believing that you know what you're talking
Right,
about.
right.
And, you know?
And you got to have them understand why they want you there with them when you walk into that office. you
Yeah.
know?
Is this a challenging market for you guys as real estate agents? Is this
Yeah,
is this
yeah.
one of the most
So-
challenging market
As
that
a
you
buyer's
guys-
agent, 100%.
Just
As a
in
seller's
general.
agent, easy as cake.
Just in general, though, is it challenging to? Because look, real estate agents are somewhat like therapists. I have people. No, they are because
No, I know, dude.
they
And
have
we're
people.
babysitters and we're
They have people that come in and they get emotional. They start crying if the deal falls through. They don't know if this is what they should be doing or not. It's a very. People think real estate is just writing a contract, but it's actually part of. You're actually
my favorite.
emotionally involved with the client.
my favorite. We're gonna pray about it.
Maybe somebody does,
love
man.
those.
Maybe somebody does.
Pray about it. Awesome.
What do you think, though? Matt, do you think a lot of people are emotionally involved where you have to kind of play the side of both of that?
Yeah,
Where
I mean that's normal, but like that's every day, like the emotions and whatnot.
Yeah.
'cause I'm very emotional. And then what I would say is, people, you just need to lay out the facts for them, and
Yeah.
the way my approach is, like I'm waiting on something to happen right now, like there was an appraisal, came in short, blah blah blah. We're fighting over $5,000. Like my client's probably gonna do it, but I just, the seller slept on it, and then I said, you know what, buyers, let's sleep on it as well. Let's give them a taste of their own medicine. And the girls call, it's just a game. The whole thing is a game.
Oh, yeah, dude.
You just need to play the game.
Yeah,
you know?
that's the thing, man. Like
It's
that's
a
the
ga-
best.
when I say-
That's the best way of being. Just you got it. Once
when-
you understand the game.
No, but you need to like make it fun, and you need to make your clients relax so they understand that you're playing a game of chess, and just it's a game, but we're
Yep.
gonna win.
Yeah.
And if we don't win, we're not gonna lose because we're not gonna do it.
do you
If
have,
we're gonna win, it's gonna be on your terms.
yeah.
If it's not on your terms, then we don't want to win.
But you gotta just make people laugh, and then everything helps the medicine go down.
I always say, listen, I do this every day, and I'm not freaking.
You
If
know
you don't
what?
see me freak, you start to see me freak, you can freak. But if you don't see me
That's your
freaking,
cue right there,
Let me tell
buddy.
you want to get all Mary Poppins on the transaction.
makes that medicine taste better. Yeah, exactly. Makes that medicine. No kidding, man. That's true.
So if you have a client come to you and they say, you know what, I'm a little I think I'm going to hold off. I'm going to wait till the end of the year because I think the market's going to crash or collapse, or now's not the right time, especially with COVID. What do you guys? How do you counter that? Like, what do you say to those people?
Well,
like,
let me
hey,
look into
have a
my
good
crystal
one?
ball real quick and see.
Yeah,
I would say, well, if you're qualified to buy, if you're not qualified to buy, then it doesn't really matter.
yeah,
You got one option.
yeah.
If you're qualified to buy, then
Are those legitimate buyers though? Really?
Your other option is to rent.
Yeah.
And the only people that I've been in contact for the past year with leads are people who are more than qualified to buy. Like they can buy in the $1 million range, but they literally just moved here and they purposely moved here, but they're renting a place until they're getting everything together and blah, blah, and they want to take their time. Not that they don't mind buying into the market that they're buying into. They just want to take their time to make sure they're buying in the right area, in the right house and all that stuff. So
What about you,
those are
Matt?
the only people that
What about
purposely
you?
rent that I know.
What about me?
You have people come to you and say, "Hey, I'm going to hold off." Are those
Yeah.
really legitimate buyers, or
It happens.
they don't buy? Like, how many
it's-
people? Because my biggest thing is this: I always hear people tell me, "Well, I'm going to buy in 6 or 8 months."
Dude, I hear
same
that
with,
all the
same
time.
with credit. And honestly, majority of them don't buy.
They never. None of them do.
Why is that?
I mean,
None of them do. If they do, they'll be in
it's a
contact
free
with you.
country. You will buy that house.
Dude, a lot of people have a lot of ideas in their head at the time.
I think what it is that there's a lot of like, hey, I want to, and it's shiny, and it's something in front of me.
Yeah.
But you're not 2 feet in. Really, you're just
No,
like
I
you're
mean-
kind of just testing the
Yeah.
waters, right?
I mean, the thing is, people.
Absolutely.
I think people need to gather information, and as long as they have shelter and they don't have a true want or need to be here, then they can like.
That's the
pause.
thing. If you have a specific reason, like
Or
a
a specific
job or
goal.
whatever it is, then it's you're just preparing to get your act together because you know it's a move you're making.
I had some buyers last year, referral, wonderful buyers, very well approved, up to like 550.
Yeah.
I think. Worked for some tech companies, could move. Didn't buy because they're waiting for a daughter to graduate, and we looked at some homes, and it's unfortunate because now they're on their ear. Like those homes that were going for like 500 are now going for like.
That's the issue I am
600.
having with buyers
They're going
right
for
now.
600,
Is
650.
they still think the homes from a year and a half ago that were
It's just
$600,000.
timing of
Those
luck.
homes are now like $800,000, dude.
Where's your
850.
where's
So
your-
they're like
where's
they
your
think they're
starting?
getting one thing, and
Yeah.
then I show them what 5 or 6 will get you now, and they're like, well, I don't want that. I'm like, well, and then they're like, I'm not buying. Okay.
What's your
Go
starting
rent?
What's your starting price point, Matt, for homes, for people buying homes right now? Starting price point. Like if you said I had to average this out and compare that to a year ago, you go back a year, would you say
I'm around about 500 now.
500
Dude, I'm probably
Yeah,
I'm
it's gone
fine.
up.
starting point?
Dude, I'm 5 to 6.
Oh, what do you mean starting?
Like,
point?
meaning
my,
like
my
if-
average client?
Your average client's 500.
It has been recently, yeah, 4 to 5. Man,
Yeah.
that's probably 4. I mean, I'd probably say around about between 450 to 500.
And don't you think that's a little crazy from
I'm 5
where we
to
were at
6
last
on
year?
my
That's the
average.
new normal.
It's normal now,
Yeah,
right?
it's normal.
normal, dude.
Dude, I've never I
is
remember when I
scary.
started, a $500,000 house was like selling a $1.5 million house. Seriously, like the same kind of wow, you sold whatever, and now it's like my average is between 5 and 6, and they're not finding anything that they like. If the homes were available that they actually liked, I would have. I'm not kidding. At least 10 more buyers in contract right now between 5 and 6.
Cactus, how about you?
I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Come on, Cactus. I'll point. Who do you have got point? Hold on. Who do you have an appointment with later?
Yeah,
Client?
Okay, I had,
Dude,
I,
there's
I,
Is it
something
business
going
or
on
pleasure?
over there.
I had a listing go live yesterday. I'm getting blown
Oh,
up. Getting blown up, dude. Showings
Look
just
at
out
you,
the
big
ass
dog
right now.
over
big
here.
roller over there. Where's your house at? I want my buyers to get first dibs. It doesn't
So
work
Is
like
it-
that.
Hey, is it
Oh.
a pocket listing?
No,
it was. I was letting everybody know
you
about it.
can't do those anymore.
Oh no, you can't do pocket listings.
I mean, not technically, no. You can't. I mean, you can't like advertise it and not have it go on the market.
I want to talk to Matt a little bit about something, Matt.
I'm sorry for being a
Okay.
bad guest today. I apologize.
No, you're all good, man. You're doing great.
So you're gonna get sold right away, I assume.
Matt, I want to
Good.
let people know a little bit more about you. I think a lot of people
By
do.
Litecoin.
What do you do, man? Like, what are your hobbies? What are you about? Who do you work for? Talk
Yep.
to us, man. What are you about, man?
Douche.
So, sell some real estate, single
Yeah.
dad, have my kids half the time.
All right.
Try and keep it healthy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like work out,
Yeah.
you know.
You have a very extensive dating life, right?
No, I do not.
You don't.
I mean, I don't. I mean,
Not at all, huh?
not at all.
Not at all, huh?
No, keep it
He's a
low
working
key.
man.
I keep it low key.
You keep it low key.
Trying to be a good-
What do you do for hobbies, man?
Do a bit of reading.
Yeah.
Read. I guess my boys are a hobby. Well,
Read.
half
What
the
are y'all
time.
smart?
I don't know. I try and like stimulate the brain. I get
Just
workout. You know.
Yeah.
I got
You live in Green Valley?
yeah, and I go.
I always see you on road trips quite a bit with your kids, man.
Yeah, I got an RV. So I go camping.
You got an RV, huh?
Well, it's
Dude,
actually,
he's the world's best dad.
it's
Dude, he is, man. He's a great dad, dude.
it's a travel trailer.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's like 30. It's a bad boy.
Where do you guys travel to, man?
Wow, we've been all over, mostly up to Utah so far, and like up Mount Charleston and
I see.
Lake Mead.
You been to Zion?
I
Dude, that's
I have
amazing
been to
up there.
Zion. Thing is, my travel trailer, it's so big. Like it's so big. It's
Yeah.
like fucking. Excuse my language.
It's hard to go a long distance with it.
It's like taking the Titanic out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
big, and my truck isn't really big enough. Like it's a half ton.
Yeah.
I'm totally pushing it.
Yeah.
Like, but it's really cool. It's got 2 bedrooms, 2 toilets. It's pimping.
that's cool.
It's like a high-rise condo.
But I think your kids, man, when I was younger, your kids will love that because, like, I remember stuff. Dude, we did a cross-country trip, and I'm going to tell you something. We didn't have all the luxuries.
Yeah,
Dude,
neither did we.
We
dude.
literally.
That's how we used to take our vacations.
I will remember that trip forever because, dude, we left in a minivan. We were camping half the way there, right?
Dude, we were in a
packed our
station
food.
wagon, bro.
But you know what? We saw
station
more
wagon.
stuff. Yeah, more stuff during that trip.
No
So-
seatbelts included.
Right.
Oh, that's fun.
So
It
that's pretty
was.
much what you do,
Yeah,
Matt.
and
We live
and
like
so,
kings.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty. As I'm older now. I'm 44. I'm pretty chill now. Like
Yeah.
I used to be, not so chill.
He was a renegade.
Dude, were you a player when you were younger? Honestly.
No, do you know? Believe it or not, when I was younger, I was incredibly shy. Like I
Really?
was
Wow.
really quiet. I was quiet.
You're still kind of shy, man.
I mean, I'm reserved, but
You
like,
are, definitely.
But like
It's because you're British.
maybe, you know.
I'm just kidding. It's a personality trait.
No, but no, I'm pretty quiet, and then I'm just I've been through a lot, and like I've taken my licks, and I've had a
Yeah.
lot of adventure.
Good.
But now I'm not out and about so much anymore. But
Yeah.
I don't care. Like
Yeah.
I'm perfectly happy.
Matt's like this, right?
But I can
When you're young, so here's what happens. Matt used to be, say, cocky, and then life happened and kicked his ass a little bit. Now it's confidence,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I would say
because life will do that to you. It like you've had enough life experience
yeah.
to hit you where you know not to get cocky because you know what life can bring you at any given moment.
Yeah,
but
I
it's
would-
more about a confidence of kind of understanding, right?
I mean, if you were to really dissect it, I would say that I used to project more out of a necessity for like show or armor against my shyness.
Right.
That
Yeah.
was like I was overcompensating. But now I don't need to be showy to anyone.
Now you just don't care.
Yeah.
It's-
Dude, that's the great thing about getting older, dude. We don't give a shit.
I think when you get
what I
Vegas,
act the way I
though,
do.
like when you come
Don't
to
like
Vegas,
it?
how long did you come
Well,
to
you
Vegas?
understand, I came here with nothing, and I was a legal alien for 5 years. So
Really?
there was a lot of people that were trying to like keep the white man down.
Really?
Yeah.
For
Trying
5
to
years,
keep
you
the
weren't.
white
You weren't.
man
You weren't
down.
actually. You were not a legal citizen.
I was a posh Mexican.
That's funny. That's funny.
So when did you actually get where you were a citizen? How long did that
It took
take?
me like 5 years to find my wife.
So you got it through
To
marriage.
find your wife.
It took me like 5 years to find my wife.
It's hard. It was hard.
You didn't pay her,
You're a
did you?
little
No.
picky there.
Okay, good man. It was
That
more of
was
like
hard.
it was more like a nod.
No,
like-
he paid one way or
We all
another.
pay.
Not money, but he paid.
I was married for 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, married for 10 years. We had 3 children.
Okay, so you didn't go out and like when I came in when I was 22, man. I thought I struck gold when I was a kid because I came here when I was in Vegas. I did everything, man. I was never home. I was
Yeah.
always out.
Yeah.
I felt like
How old were you when you moved here?
22.
Jeez.
22,
What
man.
made you move here?
So it's weird. I moved here because I had a job opportunity. I got out of college, and there was an opportunity for me to go and become a supervisor. Well, I was working at a collection company that then they ended up making me a supervisor. I was like, this isn't for me, dude. So
We got wrapped up.
Call center.
yeah,
Yeah, it's hard.
So, anyways, it's kind of crazy, man, how people kind of all come together. But, dude, you're from the UK, and
Well, I was in Canada. Like, I was a bit wild. And then I was living in Canada, and it was winter. And then someone said to me, do you want to host the Miller Lite Spring Break pub crawl in Key West? I was like,
Whoa.
yeah, I'm your
Really?
guy. Yeah, I'm your guy. I'm the guy.
Yeah, I'm your guy.
And so I was going to drive down. I was going to drive down with 2 other people to do it.
yeah,
But when we got to the border at Niagara Falls, one of them got arrested right away because there was an outstanding bench warrant for some.
Oh my god.
So we were and this, you know what?
One of them got arrested right away.
This was just before the Iraq War, just before. So there was heightened border security. We went in, we get there, and then they said to this one kid, he's like, "Would you mind waiting in this room?" And I was like, "They're gonna arrest him." Like
They're gonna arrest him.
It looked like it was like a clink, you know, like it was like a metal, like at the door.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'm like, he's getting detained, he's gone, and so they arrested. It was just a silly bench warrant for like an outstanding trash ticket or something, but it was in the system.
Yeah.
And then the other person I was with, like,
He's getting arrested.
he had been to Key West last year, and he was only like 17 or 18, and he had kissed a girl on the beach. And in Key West, there's like there's a curfew on the beaches where you're not allowed to be on the beach at night because they don't want people on the beach at nighttime.
Yeah.
And so he was 17, this girl was like 16, and he got a ticket, and in the system it said he was a pedophile.
Oh my God.
So
No way.
he wasn't coming either. So I was so determined to get out with the winter in Toronto that I walked across the border with my suitcase.
Dude, that's awesome,
I walked
man.
to a bus stop, and then I got a bus to Buffalo, maybe, I think.
Buffalo?
Yeah, near Niagara Falls.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I slept in the airport overnight, and I tied my bag to I had some string, and I tied it to my wrist. And then I bought a plane ticket to Miami, and then I got a bus from Miami to Key West, and then I stayed there for 6 weeks, and then at the end of the 6 weeks, I'm like, I'm going to stay in America.
Yeah.
Because it was so amazing.
Do you like America? Do you like America better than the UK in a lot of ways?
I mean, it's a bigger country. Obviously, I miss my friends. England's a cool, the UK is cool. Cool scenery. It's very close. One thing that's you'll find quite odd if you were to visit, is that you can go like 50 miles and there's a different accent. Like go
What?
Oh, really?
You can go 100. You can go 50, 60 miles. Totally different accent.
Oh, that's so cool.
Well, we have.
Wow, man, that would
It's more
trip me
tribal.
out, dude.
It's tribal.
It's
Like,
tribal.
I'm talking about.
That would
I
trip
mean,
me out,
for,
man.
For a big difference would be from say Bristol in England to Cardiff in Wales is a huge accent difference.
Yeah.
But even like 50, 60 miles, you can tell the difference of an accent from like.
No matter where I went there, though, I would speak and say, "Can you guess where my accent's from?"
Yeah.
It's the same.
But I mean, it's my boys are here. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's finish the show up. So
Let's
I just
wrap it
wanna
up,
say-
man.
I want to say one thing here. One last thing. Brett,
One last thing.
where do you guys think the housing market's going to head to? You guys think it's going to keep going up? Where do you guys think that it's going to be at the
I
end
think
of the
it's
year?
going to be. I
Where-
think
prices. Where do you think the
Okay.
prices will be at the end of the year?
I think we're looking at like 20% from the start of this year to maybe to the end of the year or halfway. through next year.
700,000 will be the new starting point.
Oh,
I don't know, but it's going to go up. It's going up.
Brett, what do you think, man?
We're going to zero. Buy Litecoin. Bitcoin.
Do you think houses are going to go up, man?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where do you think it's going to be at the end of the year? Just quick throwing out.
In the sky.
Sky.
Mars.
600?
No.
You don't think it's going to be that high?
Nope.
550?
What's the high average? It's the highest for the average right now. Is what,
Well, we said
375?
it's 5.
About.
Well, yeah, it's 3. Yeah, it's 3. No, I think it's higher than that. 382. I think.
382. I would
Gone up a
say next year at this time,
400.
At least 4.
4 to 415.
You think so?
Yeah.
Same for you.
Yeah. I think at least in the 4s for sure. I don't see it slowing down.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So let's go and wrap this up. Appreciate you guys coming on. We'll have another show next this Tuesday. And if you guys have any comments, comment in the comment section below. Also, please subscribe to my channel. Also, we're going to have other shows and things in the links in my comment section. So if you guys want to do that, appreciate you guys tuning in on this Saturday, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye.
Thank you for watching an episode of the French Workbench podcast. If you want to tune into past episodes, please subscribe to my channel now. Also, if you want to look at our audio-only options, we do have iTunes and SoundCloud.